And as we look at this amazing little model of Dagenham Village and the Church of St Peter and St Paul, absolutely amazing. Let me take you to the real thing. And here we stand in all that remains of Dagenham Village. Not much of it. The only buildings to remain of the old Dagenham Village are the church and the Cross Keys pub, which we're looking at there. The rest of it, this was previously a bank, and you've got council estate all around us. We'll go and have a look at the War Memorial first. Then we'll have a look at the outside of the church. Very kindly, this church isn't open during the week or to the public, accessible for photographing and videoing, so I kindly arranged with people from the church for them to open it for me. A massive thank you to the gentleman who did that, much appreciated. But here is the War Memorial. In memory of those servicemen from Dagenham who gave their lives during World War II. I recognise a few of those surnames, I must admit. Pucker. I recognise that name of one of our lovely page members. I don't know if I don't think any of her lot were down this end, or her husband's lot rather, I should say, the surname. This stone was laid by the Most Reverend and Right Honourable Dr. George Carey, Archbishop of Canterbury, to commemorate the landscaping of Dagenham Village, Millennium Green, and to mark the site of the Dagenham Village War Memorial, 9th of June 2000. Take a picture of that. And that's that Dagenham Village Green. Cross Keys Hall. Got a function hall, obviously. Now over to our location. Get exterior views first. Crown Street. Down that way. Nice old pub. A nice looking old pub, rather, I should say. I did ask about going up there, but there are only very few people that are actually allowed, because you can get up into the bell room, but beyond that, up into the bell tower and the top and the roof and that, they are very old, very pre-health and safety wooden ladder stairs, and very narrow apparently. And the bloke who kindly unlocked the church for me, he was thinner than me, and he very discreetly said, I have a bit of a squeeze getting in there, so you can imagine with me, can't you? It's like, no. No, thank you. There will be a churchyard tour following this one. There are several interesting graves, including our murdered police constable, which we will walk past quickly in a minute, but we will cover him properly in the churchyard tour. This churchyard only looks as well kept as it is thanks to students from Dagenham University. I think he said it was Dagenham and Redbridge University, and they're students that have come in roundabout Remembrance Day and got it tidied up and looking decent. Just taking pictures. The churchyard is a bit choppy and up and downy, so if anyone yourself does visit here, God blimey, look, that one's been broken in half. B-R-I-T-T-A-I-N Britain. Mr. Robert Britton. We'll cover him in the tour. The inscription is still legible, broken in half or not. And you've got this little tucked away area of the churchyard round here. And a great hole going down into a grave there. So, yeah. I like the nice old church. The churchyard tour will probably have to be in several halves, I should think. And this one, this lovely old church, it was founded in circa 1180 by the Abbess of Barking. So yet another link back to Barking Abbey. I know it keeps cropping up, doesn't it? But it was, now you see the wealth and power and influence that it wielded. When we go inside the church, we'll stand inside the original 12th century bit. Hello, it's a cat. Hello. Ah. Yes. What then? Can I stroke you? Ah. Alright. We'll call that cat Deborah. What? I ain't got no grub. Yeah, it's a Deborah. Yeah, it was founded in circa 1180 by the Abbess of Barking. You'll have by now, possibly if you have watched it, you'll have by now watched Valence House Museum, the Fanshawe family. They're buried here. Yeah, it's quite a lot of history in this one. I wasn't able to linger too long inside because, as I said, they opened it up for me, especially because they have to keep it locked, the area being what it is now. Unfortunately, as he said himself, they would have absolutely nothing left. So, as I said, I promised you I would show you the policeman's grave. George Clark, sacred to the memory of George Clark, late police constable of the K Division Metropolitan Police. He was inhumanely and barbarously murdered. So we'll cover him in our churchyard tour. And here are some mysteries as well. These 3 children, and I've looked everywhere online just now to try and find anything, and I can't. Ronald Sidney Watley, Florence Louisa Ivy Letton, and Ronald Harold Victor Knight. Each child died on the 9th of October 1925, aged 3 years, 3 years and 4 years, and they're all buried in this mass grave. So they either died of a disease or in some kind of accident. And you think it would be more well featured, wouldn't you, online? Look, our little friend's following us. Deborah the churchyard cat. I should imagine they get a pretty decent feast in a churchyard with mice and other such like things pottering around. Some really nice stained glass on the inside. You can see a little bit of it there. I'll take you back round to the front. And you will join me inside. So, join me back here, join me inside, as I should say, because in that part of the video we shall already be inside the church. William Mason, architect, 1800. This doorway was put in. Oh yeah. Join me inside the church. There's the font, and that'll be weighted if you lift that. There's the weight. Oh look, you don't normally get to see those. There's the weight, so if you lift that, that will lift that up nicely. What we're standing in, as the gentleman kindly just told me, is the 19th century addition to the church. In a minute I'll be taking you into the original part. Mr. William Stone of this parish, a farmer, died 23rd day of July 1839 in the 72nd year of his age. Also, the memory of Mrs. Stone, Sarah Stone, who died November the 5th, 1852, in the 86th year of her age, wife of the above, and niece of the late William Ford. They rest in peace. You've got John Gillamede, Esquire, late of Gower Street, London, a fellow of the Royal and several other scientific societies, who died the 22nd of November 1844 in the 83rd year of his age, whose remains are laid with those of his maternal grandfather and grandmother, Mr. and Mrs. Pillen, in the adjoining cemetery. And over here you've got a few, and then you've got the pulpit, which is very fine as well. I was told about this by a friend, the pulpit, because it's particularly fine, the carving on that. Good to them, Nathaniel James Rogers. Pause to read them. I won't read them all out because they've kindly unlocked the church for me, so I don't want to. We'll take pictures. Commissioned and non-commissioned officers of the parish who fell in the Great War. Now we enter into the original bit of the church, which is from the 1180s. As I said, outside the church was founded by the Abbess of Barking. And there's some gorgeous stained glass here. When this church was first founded, literally it was only surrounded by farms, and a small farming community at that, so they didn't need a very big chapel. That's beautiful, that. This one I'll do like that. And where we're standing now, under the blue ceiling, this bit is all late 1100s. The bit we're going to go into now is from the 1500s, about 1500, so both the bits we're standing in are pre-Reformation. You've got a couple there, medieval look, and their sons and daughters. Dr. Rigid Albion. And the whole thing is in Latin, so Sir Richard Albion Knight. Look at that old door, look. Vicars of Dagenham. Pause to read. I'm photographing any of the things that this is an uphill. Richard Uphill, Esquire. Standard bearer to the late Majesty King William and Queen Mary. Thomas Collins, Doctor of Physic, the seventh son of Robert Collins. Some interesting people buried here. Corn Chandler, this man was. Just cover these memorials quickly and then that'll do us then. Right, ladies and gents, I hope you all enjoyed that one. Thank you for watching. And there's a lot of photos as well, so you can catch up with those. Now for our historical look back with our first and earliest image that I could find. This is 1907, looking straight down the high street, most of which doesn't exist anymore, straight at the church. All the buildings over to the left pretty much are all been wiped away. It's where the War Memorial is now. And over to the right, all the buildings are gone. The only thing that remains, of course, is the church, without its spire, of course. The church tower had to be rebuilt in the year 1800 after it collapsed. So that's another little element to its history. But a nice little shot from 1907 of a very different Dagenham Village to the one we see today. Early 20th century shot showing a different aspect of the church. Lovely, nice clear photo, this one, decent quality, and of course with its spire still intact. Bear that spire in mind. Early 20th century again, and this is a side view from the church, from its churchyard. Dagenham Parish Church from the rear of the Cross Keys Inn. We will be having a tour of that pub if that's your thing. Keep a lookout for that. By Alfred Bennett Bamford, 1857 to 1939. This is in Valence House Museum, this image. It's a lovely one, as you can see. An old postcard depicting Dagenham's St Peter and St Paul Church before 1921 with its spire. And they note before 1921 with its spire because the spire had fallen into such a state of disrepair by 1921 that it had to be taken down. This is a very early 20th century image, this one. And a nice aerial shot of Dagenham Village from 1960, before the redevelopment. Image from the LBBD archives. And if you look into the centre and over to the right a smidge, you can see our parish church and its churchyard, and the encroaching development all around it, which was soon to take over Dagenham Village itself. A lovely image, Francis Frith, famous photographer, circa 1960, showing the lovely old church, and the buildings over to the left are gone, and of course that's where the war memorial is. Here we see Crown Street, Old Dagenham Village, showing devastated waste ground, looking west toward Dagenham Parish Church, 1967, and our spire by this point is long gone. Old Dagenham Village, showing open ground with trees surrounding St Peter and St Paul's Parish Church in the background, 1969. And here we see an image I took myself of the church in 2023, with its rebuilt church tower, rebuilt in 1800, and its missing spire taken down in 1921. The only original things from the old Dagenham Village that still remain in this picture are the old Cross Keys pub over to the left, which we'll be having a tour of once we've done all this church and churchyard, and the church itself, of course. Hope you've all enjoyed the tour of the church. There is a part 2 to this, which covers the monuments and bits and bobs I wasn't able to completely cover in the tour. The monuments bit is quite interesting because we get some images of people covered in that tour, which we don't always get with churchyard and monuments tours. So if that's your thing, head on over to part 2 and hope you all enjoy. Thanks for watching.